Hey family, how you doing? Just wanted to share with you about just an experience I had recently, and man, I tell you, I said I got to do a video on this. I was in Philadelphia recently, just wanting to get some soul food. Just in the soul food I was talking about is mainly like some fish, some yams, some things like that, right? And so I'm in there, and they had some fish, right? And I was like, okay, great, some fried fish. And I asked the guy, I said, well, what kind of fish is this? And he said, it's swai. Now, I remember my wife telling me some time ago something about swai wasn't good, but I didn't remember all the details of it. Well, anyway, I went ahead and bought it anyway. And I'm in the car. And while I was in the car, I said, you know what? Let me look this up. Let me look up what swai is about. Well, come to find out, swai is probably one of the worst fish that you can serve any human. And I don't put that lightly either. Any human should not be consuming swine. And so, come to find out, I looked it up and I found this article, and you can see it on your screen. And I'll put the link in the description below where you can read it for yourself. Dr. Axe goes into some very, very deep detail about the origins of swine, where, as far as where it comes from, how it's raised, the amount of toxins that are in this fish. It's just ridiculous. Now, the reason why it's on the market is because it's a cheaper version of, let's say, whiting or some fish that are similar in texture, but it's whiting, flounder. That's probably another one that's similar to, similar in taste, but it's not the same fish at all. But the reason why it's out there on the marketplace is because it's cheaper. But when you start looking at how these fish are raised, they're raised in fish farm. First of all, if you ever buy fish, never get fish that are farm raised, because what they do is they put it all in a farm raised situation. And maybe I'll show you some video of this as well.
Oh my gosh.
What it looks like in comparison to catching fish like in a situation like this. There are fish in the water. Now, that's not pollution, by the way. What that is like cedar, and that's coming from like cedar trees and pine trees, and the water looks like that. So that's not pollution, okay? But in a natural climate like this, you don't see bunches and bunches and bunches and bunches of fish all crammed in together. But that's what you see in fish farms. Now, fish farms, when you have that many amount of fish all cramped together, they're doing, it's all kinds of, what you normally do. They go in the bathroom in that closed environment. It's hard to keep it clean. There's a lot of stuff going on, in those closed quarters like that, and it's not natural. And on top of that, what they're doing is they're injecting these fish with all kinds of different growth hormones and different things like that that are not natural. And they found high levels of metals and things like that in these fish. A lot of these fish come out of Southeast Asia countries. And so, in some of these waters that they're harvesting these fish, they are known to have pollution in these waters and all this stuff. So all that being said, family, this is not a fish that we should be consuming at all. Now, the main reason why I'm doing this video is this. This is a call to all the black-owned restaurants that are out there. If you're serving this fish, you need to stop. Especially if you're telling people it's whiting. You shouldn't be telling people that it's whiting. You shouldn't be telling people that it's just like flounder or something like that, because we've seen this. I've come across this a whole lot where I've seen people do this kind of stuff, and it ain't real. That's not true. They're getting swai, they're getting it on the cheap, and what they're doing is they are they're selling it at a premium. Never mind your own health. Now, I'm putting this call out particularly to black-owned restaurants because of the fact, listen, we got to deal with this with other racial groups, that other groups that come over here that have historically has always given us some of the most dirtiest, filthiest foods out there and serve it up. As long as they sugar it up or they salt it up, we just consume it and don't even ask questions. Never mind the oils that they use, the cooking oils and things like that. We don't even know anything about those things. You know what I mean? Because we don't ask. You know what I mean? But it's bad enough we have to deal with that kind of nonsense from other groups. But when it's your own people doing that, that's crazy. And that should not be an issue for our people at all when it comes to fish. So my call to you, first of all, to black-owned restaurants, whether if you're Jamaican, whether if you're African, or maybe you just black here in the United States. If you're serving up Swai, you need to stop. And it's going to be people like me. We're going to start calling this stuff out for what it is, because that's crazy. I mean, because like I said, again, it's bad enough that we have to deal with this kind of nonsense when it comes to our own people. I mean, when we have to deal with this kind of stuff with other people, but when it's your own people serving up this stuff, and you know what you're doing, a lot of you know what you're doing, you know, that's bad. That's bad. And so what we're going to do as far as this platform is concerned, we're going to start calling some of these restaurants out. Why? Because we care about the health of our people. And unfortunately, if it means that we got to call out our own people for doing this stuff, then so be it. Because it's about time our people especially start getting it right when it comes to the foods that we serve to our own people. We don't want to hear anything about this whole thing. Well, it's cheaper and I can't get a loan and all this other stuff. Then don't serve the fish. Don't serve that kind of food to our people. You know, wait till you get your coins together and get the right food that's healthy for us. Okay? But don't do that. Don't get lazy when it comes to these kinds of foods, because it's literally killing us. We're out here worrying about COVID and some of these other diseases when it's really, in many cases, our own restaurants that are killing us with this kind of stuff. So if you're serving these kinds of fish such as Swai, stop it. Because Swai, as you're seeing right now, is one of the most dangerous fish that's for human beings to consume. And we shouldn't be doing that at all. So I hope you got something out of this. You guys take care.